Do you know what really does my head in, yeah? Keir Starmer gets up in Parliament today at PMQs, and the first word that comes out of his mouth is talking about Jamaica and the hurricane. Now, don't get me wrong, it's sad what happened out there. But what about what's happening here, mate? A British man, Wayne Broadhurst, was out walking his dog in Uxbridge, stabbed to death by an Afghan illegal migrant for nothing, right? A 14-year-old boy was also stabbed by him, and a 45-year-old bloke is now being left with life.
Do you ever get the feeling that the people running this country are living in a different world? Because today, watching Prime Minister's questions, that feeling hit harder than ever. Keir Starmer stood up in Parliament and started talking about events overseas, and sure, compassion is important. But millions of people watching at home were asking a simple question: what about here? What about what's happening on our streets? In our
life-changing injuries. So where's the outrage for them? Where's the compassion for our own? Not a single mention from Starmer, not one. He's too busy virtue signaling about another country while our people are being butchered in the streets by people who shouldn't even be here. Now I'm sick to death of it, because ordinary working class people are the ones living through this chaos. The stabbings, the grooming gangs, the migrant hotels, while these politicians sit there in their fancy suits pretending everything's fine. Well, it ain't fine. Our country's falling apart, and the people running it care more about looking good on the world stage than they do about
pounds to our people. Because the truth is, Britain feels broken right now. Violent crime is up. Families are scared to let their kids out after dark. Police are stretched. Courts are backlogged. And still, we get the same polished speeches about global issues while everyday chaos goes unanswered. You can feel it everywhere. In the headlines, in your bills, in the tension that hangs in the air. The breaking point came this week after another horrific stabbing shook a quiet community. People aren't just heartbroken, they're angry. They're asking how something like this could happen again. How many more families have to go through this before Westminster wakes up? Because for all the talk of safety and compassion, the reality on the ground is fear and silence. And it's that silence that's driving people mad. The silence from politicians who won't address what's happening in their own backyard. The silence from leaders who seem more comfortable delivering sympathy abroad than solutions at home. You can't blame people for feeling abandoned, because when you see violence in your own streets, you want more than thoughts and prayers. You want action. Ordinary working-class people are living this crisis every day. They're seeing communities change, services collapse, and wages fall behind while Westminster carries on with its performance politics. They're tired of being told everything's fine by people who'll never know what it's like to wait hours for an ambulance or walk past a crime scene on the school run. And this isn't about left or right anymore. It's about trust. It's about whether the people in charge even understand what life looks like beyond the Commons chamber. When politicians talk about values, people want to see those values at home, not just on the international stage. They want leadership that protects as well as preaches. Tonight, the message from the public couldn't be clearer. Stop posturing, start protecting. Stop chasing headlines, start fixing what's broken. Britain doesn't need more speeches. It needs safety, honesty, and accountability. It needs a government that stands up for the people who live here, not one that hides behind soundbites. Because in the end, this isn't about politics. It's about survival. The country's hurting, and every day that goes by without real change is another day people lose faith in the system meant to defend them. And if our leaders can't feel that urgency, then maybe they shouldn't be leading at all.